I have the leaning steering modification install wrapped up on my cousin Daryl's SR2. Nice, neat install. Here's something I do. I run the wires for headlights on either side of the servo mount. No issues with it hanging up on the linkages. And for the voltmeter on the dash, I run that wire on the outside of the movable shock mount on the right side. Here's a change I made to this install. I went with a Spectrum Heli cyclic servo. This is a 99 inch-ounce of torque servo compared to the high-tech I was running that I have in my sled. It's a marked difference in the performance of this modification. I'm going to change it out on my sled. This servo is about an 1/8 inch taller than the high-tech servo. So I had a clearance issue putting the hood on. What was hitting was the socket head cap screw that holds in the headlight buckets. So I switched out to a flathead screw and countersunk it. I am also going to shorten the links from 28mm down to 26 on my SR2. What I do is I just trim off the ends of the links, cut them shorter. Just a short piece of thread in between there. But I like how that gets more engagement between the shock mounts and the dovetails. Here's a look at what I had to trim off the side covers and the front nose piece for clearance for the movement of these shock mounts. Took about 1/8 of an inch off from here to here off the side covers, and about a 1/16 of an inch straight down through here on the front nose piece. This is not even noticeable when the sled is upright, and even if you drop down and look at it, it looks fine. I have on this sled what I'm calling the full package as far as this leaning steering modification goes. And I love the stance. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. So that is the plus 30mm arms. They're modified from Build It Better's plus 20 arms. I have the limiter strap tightened up to where I only have about a 1/4 inch of travel on the front shock, and I have the back shock, the main shock on the skid, about 3/4 of the way tightened up. So I'm putting more pressure on the back of the skid, as you can see how it's setting here. So Daryl's springs are stiffer than mine, but I also stiffen up the front springs a little bit. It gives it that stance, but it also makes the leaning steering modification more effective. So now, along with the stronger servo, I think this should really perform well between all those components of this package that I'm calling it. This stance I'm talking about, as far as when I say putting the complete package on for this modification, when you tighten up the front springs and adjust the track like I'm talking, where you put more pressure on the back here, that gives it a bigger triangle where it's putting the pressure on the snow. So more stable stance. And the last thing I'm doing to this is I'm putting more toe out. I got an 1/8 inch toe out on mine. I'm wanting to try more, so I have like a 1/4 of inch toe out. And like I say, you can see this ski is not going to oversteer, dive into the turn. The one guys told me that they run toe out on their sleds, so I thought, why not try it on the SR2? Okay, let's give her a rip. We'll take it out in the powder. That's what everybody wants to see. That's that downhill turn, and I was going probably a little too slow. Need to have the outside ski going fast enough where it's got some float. And like I said before, just this slope in my yard, without this mod and this powder, and we got fine powder right now. You can see it in the rooster tail. I can't make this turn. It just falls over. So there's the difference on the leaning steering mod. I can drive it. It makes it fun to drive. The other thing, adjusting the limiter strap like I did, I can use the throttle. It doesn't do a crazy wheel stand like it did before. Get out of here, come this way, because it's some really deep powder over in there. Check out Daryl's turn on the hard pack. Yep. We can definitely drift this a little bit. Couldn't do that before. Couldn't make an aggressive, even this aggressive of a turn on the flat without just falling over. And certainly, like even some other guys have said, just a little ridge or bump in the driveway. So let's try a turn at a little more speed. See if that outside ski stays up. I had to come off the field because of wasn't making a turn. I wanted to keep the speed up, keep it from tipping, and there we got a tip. You can see by my footprints here, we probably got a foot of snow out here. Maybe not a foot, maybe 8 or 10 inches, but this is just powder. Check out the rooster tail. It's gonna be a full trigger launch. Just powder, but that's full trigger, and she don't flip. Coming this way. I want to wreck Daryl's sled. Get the death wobble. So there you can see that pushing down that outside ski, the modification. So coming downhill, make that turn. A close-up look at it. You can see it staying up. Working as it should. All right, enough of a test. Give you guys an idea of this mod. Set up again on another sled, and I think even better performance. Got to make these changes to my sled next. Come on, baby, get it on. Little B-roll here before I go park the sled. It's a lot funner to drive, boys. Whoa, saved her. Called a ridge. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go park it.